All right. Gail Brickman is a dedicated advocate for elder justice and financial accountability. A lifelong Illinois resident, Gail became involved in senior fraud awareness after witnessing firsthand the devastating impact of a multi-million-dollar financial scheme that targeted her elderly parents. Motivated by a personal mission to expose wrongdoing and protect vulnerable seniors, she has worked tirelessly to bring public and legal attention to complex cases. So if you will, please welcome Gail Brinkman.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Imagine this. One seemingly small decision, a click, a phone call, a moment of distraction, and everything changes. Personal information exposed, a career setback, or worse. Today, we're going to talk about real scenarios that happen to good, smart people just like all of you. And more importantly, how to make sure it doesn't happen. My goal is simple. Equip you with awareness and practical steps to protect yourself, your family, and your future. Please sit back and let's start. I first like to thank everyone from the North Shore Center for inviting me to speak today on a very important topic. My name is Gail Brickman, and I'm here first as a daughter and then as an advocate. I couldn't understand how my parents went through so much and lost everything. In the wildest dreams, to sit here and think everything could be taken from you. I am not an attorney, but I went to law school and I got my master's in elder law and taxation. I'm qualified to speak to you today, to educate you and to make you aware that we shouldn't have this happen ever again. As a daughter of Bernice and Seymour, two people who worked hard their entire lives, trusted institutions, and were betrayed anyways. What I'm going to share with you today is a very true story, my family story. And at the end of it, I'm going to give you some concrete tools because knowing what happened to my parents might be exactly what keeps it from happening to you. I need someone to help me start my program. Someone who's trusting. Does anyone have a $20 bill? Seriously, please. Well, come on up. Help me. But you got to feel you're trusting, though. Are you a trusting person? No, I need a 20. Your name is?
Paula Silver.
Hi, Paula. Thank you.
You're welcome. I trust you.
Are you a trusting person, though?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe I'll give it the rest back. Maybe. Before I tell you what happened to my family, I want to make sure you're working with the same vocabulary. One reason that this crime succeeds and continues to succeed is that most people don't recognize it. White collar crime. Who's ever heard of that terminology? More than I even anticipated. It involves deliberate deception by professionals who understand the rules well enough to bend, evade, or manipulate them. These crimes do not depend on violence, but rely on trust. Remember the word trust. They are usually high level of complexity that overwhelms ordinary people. Seniors are often the ideal target because they tend to have more wealth, although their time, health, cognitive energy is limited. It's committed by individuals, businesses, or professionals with credentials, titles, and licenses. People appear legitimate, carry themselves with confidence, people you would trust. Seniors are deliberately targeted because they're ideal victims. And because we are not naive, but because we possess what we believe, we have accumulated wealth, a home, savings, and a business built over a lifetime. We trust institutions and believe that a state license has value. A bank would never engage in illegal business. And a lawyer has ethical duty to protect us. Every one of these assumptions can be weaponized. And in my parents' case, it was. There's a specific, oh, sorry, I should be doing this, shouldn't I? But it's not working. It will? Okay, I'll go on and we'll catch up. There's a specific category of white collar crime I want you to understand. Thank you.
Ignore me.
Here,
So where are we?
keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
Keep going. Where?
Okay, no, back one.
Back one.
Yeah, back one.
I'm
Okay,
learning.
me too. There's a specific category of white collar crime I want you to understand because it's exactly what happened to my family. It's called affinity fraud. Who's heard of affinity fraud? Okay. Affinity fraud preys on existing targets within close relationships. It targets a religious group, an ethical community, a professional circle, or family. The fraudster doesn't break in by force, but is given the key through the trust people place in them. Sometimes the fraudster generally belongs to the group. Sometimes they only pretend to. Either way, they share the same weapon. It's the bond. In my family, the bond was this. The insurance agent was my brother's fraternity brother. He's been in our home. He broke bread with us during the holidays. My parents didn't choose a stranger. They chose someone they trusted. Little did they know they were being targeted. That is affinity fraud, not a cold call, not a scam email, a face they recognized, a name they carried history, a connection that they felt safe. I want you to hold on to that information as I introduce you to my parents. Bernice and Seymour. Bernice and Seymour were 84 years old when this scam began. They both were proud and very well educated. Bernice had COPD and heart problem. Seymour suffered from progressive dementia. However, they weren't naive. They were cautious individuals. They built a manufacturing business, not through speculation or shortcuts, but through decades of hard work and responsibility and sacrifice. They contributed to their community quietly, but consistency. They were kind of people who follow the rules because they believe rules were there to protect us. And long before the financial devastation they endured, unimaginable loss, they buried their son at just 28 years old. 8 years later, they lived through lost my son, their grandson. They believed a licensed agent could be trusted. That belief, reasonably and earned over a lifetime, was the door the fraudsters walked through. The insurance agent was not a stranger. He was my brother's fraternity brother decades ago in the early 70s. That history created a sense of security, of emotional access. He reappeared in our lives nearly 30 years later, presenting himself as a licensed insurance professional and financial advisor. He and his family celebrated the holidays with us, which solidified trust. He manipulated my parents emotionally by invoking the memory of my brother to gain their trust. This created a sense of security and emotional access. He felt emboldened. Through my investigation, I later discovered he had 2 prior insurance felonies. The Illinois Department of Insurance, IDOI, never disclosed this information to the public. Illinois law mandates license revocation for such conduct. The IDOI failed to serve the Illinois citizens, and through these actions, allowed him to continue selling complex insurance products to seniors. My parents believed that if the state licensed him, he must be safe. If the life insurance company accepted the business, it must be prudent. If the bank participated in it, it must be legitimate. Every one of these assumptions was wrong. White-collar crime does not come with threats. It arrives with credentials and reassurance. The agent exploited their trust to lead them into a complex life insurance scheme, presenting it as a responsible estate plan. He assured them it was safe, risk-free, and they were guaranteed a return in just 3 to 6 months. This was the script that all the fraudsters used in the network. I need you to understand something. This didn't happen because of a single dishonest person. My parents were targeted within a professional, organized crime network, a network that targets seniors. White-collar elder financial abuse thrives on complexity. These are not issues that elderly couples can easily understand. That's why we have fiduciary laws, disclosure requirement, and mandatory reporting. When complexity replaces transparency, harm is no longer accidental. It becomes intentional. When intentional harm, ignored by federal and state agencies meant to protect us, it turns into systemic abuse. The agent, a twice convicted felon who should have never held a license. The president and vice president of the bank often drove an hour and a half each way to my parents' home, pressuring them into signing fraudulent loan documents, which is known as bank fraud. By the time they were 86, this continued. And my mother had a heart attack due to stress, while my father's dementia worsened. The life insurance company failed to perform a background check on the agent, which would have uncovered his criminal record. This would have disqualified the transaction. Additionally, the insurance company violated Illinois law by allowing someone without insurable interest to become the beneficiary of my father's estate, which is illegal under both insurance regulation and Illinois law. The attorney from this network, who never met, spoke, or communicated with my parents in any manner, forged trust documents that were the conduit for this fraud. He used a notary who never met or witnessed my parents signing any trust documents or legal paper. Under Illinois law, the notary violated all of the laws that she swore to. Someone posing as a CPA fabricated my parents' financial statements without their knowledge to make them appear to qualify for the fraud. My parents' own attorney concealed whistleblower evidence and pressured them to settle by threatening abandonment. During my investigation, I discovered that he never deposed any of the defendants, so the case likely would have favored my parents. Later, I also learned from many of the other senior clients caught in the fraud. Just like my parents, he lost each and every case. For 30 years, the Illinois Department of Insurance received numerous complaints about the agent and never reviewed his history or investigated any of the fraud. Federal law it prohibits convicted felons from selling life insurance without a written waiver. Illinois law mandates license revocation. Neither were enforced. IDOI, hear this. You need to hear this. IDOI accepted his perjured insurance producer's renewal applications. Every 2 years, you have to send in an application and you have to attest that all these things are true. 15 times he lied, in which he claimed he never had felonies. He should have been revoked immediately. It didn't happen. The Attorney Regulation and Discipline Commission, ARDC, under the authority of the Supreme Court of Illinois, also failed to take action. Its inaction allowed seniors to continue being victimized by the attorneys who were part of this network. By the time the truth fully emerges, the seniors have passed away, records are hidden, settlements are final, institutions have moved on. That is not a flaw in the system. That is the Illinois business model. Unfortunately, for the layman, a crime like this could take years to uncover. Victims are blamed and called naive, careless, and foolish. That shame silences us. And that silence is not accidental at all. It is what the white-collar criminals count on. The willful blindness exhibited by the agents turning a blind eye. Many elders die believing it's their fault. From all this trauma, my parents' dementia got worse. I should say my father's. My mother's health deteriorated in and out of hospitals and rehab continuously. This is documented reality for elder fraud victims. The financial loss and the health loss are all the same wound. The damage didn't stop with my parents. Their legacy, everything they built together, the security they intended to pass down, and the stability that they worked hard for all those years was destroyed. Generational wealth wasn't squandered. It was stolen. Families don't lose money. They lose trust in the system, professionals, and sometimes in each other. This isn't just my parents' story. It's a warning. When regulators ignore red flags, when banks value assets more than human lives, when insurers choose profit over compliance, and when lawyers hold the facts, the system itself becomes a weapon. The elderly pay the price, losing their life savings, their health, and their dignity in their final years. My parents endured unimaginable losses, only to be betrayed by professionals who were supposed to protect them. This speech is not about offering sympathy. It's about holding people accountable, because we fail to confront white-collar crime that happens openly. possibly one of you sitting here. Today could be your day, who might not live long enough to tell your own story. My parents lost their financial independence, peace of mind in their own home. We're going to play a game. Okay? We're ready for it? It was Paula, right? Paula, will you come up here?
You have another 20?
You don't? Paula,
Yes.
why were you so trusting that I was going to give you the 10 or the 20 and you just were making change?
I had no idea. I just trusted you
Why?
because you were here. We're in this beautiful arena and I just drove along.
And how did you feel, everyone? Did you believe I was going to give you the 20 back?
No.
No, seriously. Did you think I was going to give you the 20 back? Or the 10 to make it 20? You all trusted me because I'm standing here. I look trustworthy, right? That's what happened to my parents. Exactly what happened to my parents. But the scammers don't give it back. They come through this open door and they look trustworthy. They stand up, but they don't come back. Keep that in mind. Just because we're dressed nice, we speak well, always verify.
You never would have gotten out with it 20. We would have stopped it.
Okay, I need 2 volunteers now. Who's going to come up? Oh, come on. It's not bad. You're safe. Aha. No, you are safe. I need 2 volunteers.
Good.
Okay. Okay, come on up. I need 1 more. Okay, Bob. Come on.
Wow, what a volunteer.
This is when they don't give the money back.
This man and Mike, I know he's gonna wanna.
You do, huh?
Okay, we're going to play a game called Split and Steal. Each take a card, take a pencil, take a card. You got a pen? Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. Let me get to my page. Bear with me. Yeah, that a bank account too, sure. Okay. So the game is split or steal. And each of you, or both of you, one of you you could write steal or split on the card. Okay? If you write steal and the other one writes split, the stealer takes everything. If you both write steal, nobody gets anything. Okay? And if you both write split, you get to split the money. So I'll repeat it one more time. If you both write split, you split the money. If one of you writes steal and the other one writes split, the person who steal gets the money. And if you both write steal, neither get the money. Okay, write on your card, but don't show it. Okay, now Bob, Fred, I'd like you to look at each other after Bob is done.
I'm looking at you.
No, you're not. You got to look at him in the eye and promise to split. Do you promise to split?
Yeah.
Turn to the audience and say what you wrote.
Split.
Trustworthy people, my friends. But the fraudsters would have written steal. The fraudsters would have written steal. Very nice. You guys get to split the 20.
Want to tear it in half? That's not.
I don't know about Fred's. Okay, thank you.
Are we excused?
You're excused. Thank you. I appreciate it. Protect yourself now. Everything you heard and what I have shown you, my parents' story, the games, all points to the same question. What can you do? And here it is to protect yourself. First, avoid guarantee returns. No reputable investment, most insurance products use these words. Walk away. Urgency and time pressure. You must decide today, is it a tactic meant to prevent you from consulting anyone else? Fiduciaries welcome questions. Paperwork you don't understand. If you can't explain it simply, don't sign it. Fiduciaries will welcome questions and to take the time to explain it. When someone you trust vouches for a stranger, it isn't proof of credibility. A familiar face doesn't necessarily mean trustworthiness. My parents' agent was their son's fraternity brother, which felt more credible. It was a weapon, and he knew how to use it. Collateral involving your home. Pledging your home for an investment product is almost never suitable for retirees. My mother, my friend, my client is doing this too. Social proof is a manipulation. It means nothing without independent verification. Designate a contact. Tell your bank the name of one person they can call if something seems wrong with your account. Take every contract home. Never sign under pressure. Sleep on it. Have a family member or attorney review it. Verify before you trust. Consumers should independently research financial professionals before engaging their services. Resources like FINRA Broker Check has background information, including disciplinary history. However, and I have to stress this, no comparable easy access system exists through the Illinois Department of Insurance. The lack of public transparency results in significant gap in consumer protection. In my parents' case, their insurance agent had 2 insurance felonies. Information that should have been readily available to the public. The state of Illinois, through IDOI, failed to provide a way for consumers to access critical background information. As a result, people are left without the tools necessary to make informed decisions to protect themselves from known risks. Talk to your family. Let someone you love, trust, know what financial decisions you're making. I don't want you to give up your independence, and I know how hard that is. As a senior, I get it, but we need to have second eyes so we can make good choices. Excuse me. Report it. If something feels wrong, Call your state elder fraud hotline. You may not be the only one. As I told you, my parents weren't. My parents weren't foolish. They were targeted, and seniors are targeted. They lost their savings, their home security, and the peace they had earned in their final years, while the people who did this hid behind licenses, legal documents, and institutional credibility. All this trauma worsened my father's dementia. My mother's health declined with frequent hospitals and rehab stays. Many seniors don't have a child to help them, and many die believing it was their fault. I share this story because it can happen to anyone, and because what happened to my parents might be exactly what prevents it from happening to you or to someone sitting in this room today. I really pray this is the truthful statement. This is not about sympathy, it's about accountability. Because if we do not confront how white-collar crime operates in plain sight, it'll keep happening. And the people it happens to may not live long enough to tell their own story. I wrote a poem. I haven't written a poem in years. My mother used to love when I wrote poems. So here it is. In the kingdom of contracts, where crooks words breed, walk three hungry shadows: fraud, exploitation, and greed. Fraud wears a necktie, a promise polished and bright. He smiles in the daylight and steals in the night. He hides in the footnotes, a clause dressed in ink. He counts on you rushing, too weary to think. Exploitation follows with velvet soft gloves. She hunts for confusion, for gaps in the laws. She targets the tired, the lonely, the old, trading their tomorrows for glittering gold. Greed is their general, fat with delight. He whispers, they trust you. Keep smiling, be polite. No need for a weapon, no need for a fight. Just bury the poison in pages of white. But one single question, one firm, stubborn no. A neighbor who listens, a steady, small glow. Can fracture your illusions, can loosen their hold, turn ink into justice and courage into gold. Why is white collar the least prosecuted? We'll go back to questions after I tell you. I think it's important to hear. And there's all different stats out, but they're all in billions every year. White collar crime in 24 is the top white collar financial crime for investment fraud, which reported losses totaling over between 5.7 to 6.6 billion. Overall financial scam reaches the highest record FTC data shows. At this time, I would love to take some questions. Thank you.
It's probably too late to help them, but did any of these crooks ever suffer any consequences in your life?
I'm glad you asked that. So it took me years to get the agent's license pulled. And I'm still fighting. He got it pulled, but I'm still fighting the Illinois Department of Insurance with the insurance company. They will not give me my father's records. They have used every different kind of an excuse. And under Illinois law, even if I can't keep the file, I'm entitled to check it for accuracy. So I'm still fighting that. And the insurance agent now, he moved out of state, but now he does college planning. So as a college planner, you still look at people's financials for their children. Come on, folks, you know, this is really bad because there's ways to get involved even in that. I see you thinking. What were you thinking? That's right. It could happen to anyone. Absolutely.
Why do you think your parents' own attorney kind of threw in with the crooks?
Do you know, it's really very interesting question. And remember who we're dealing with. We're dealing with a bank. It was a new bank who their assets were limited, but their connections were high. And if they went down, it would have been a big issue for the state. So I have my own thoughts to it. They'll come out, and they were bought out by another bank. So it's a big picture here. And why do I think? You'll have to make your own assumption from what I just said. I can't verbalize it being recorded.
What's the name of the insurance company?
At this time, I'm not at liberal to give it out being recorded. Because I'm not. It's one of the 10 largest in the world. John Hancock.
I may have missed it, but exactly what was the scam?
The scam was they had all these seniors take out life insurance. And that generation, we're all younger here, that generation, such as my parents, they had smaller policies. My father had a policy from the time he was 17 when my grandmother took it out before she passed away. And my parents self-insured. They believed they were set up properly. They took care of all their bills. They didn't believe in loans. And the scam was the insurance agent talked them into, I should say, scared them into taking out 2 large life insurance policies. The bank was the conduit for the loans. And since the bank was a new bank, their goal was to get property. So they stole my parents' manufacturing plant. For the other seniors, it was investments or money, whatever. And none of the life insurance ever paid off. There was a very large scheme that was involved, and it would have been, I could have spoke here today for probably 6 hours on it, but it was life insurance.
Recently, the estate attorney who did all my paperwork retired.
Mhm.
So I'm in the market for another attorney.
Okay.
Given that the fraudsters you've been talking about have credentials and licenses and support and everything else, how would you suggest ensuring that whoever I find, I would be dealing with an honest person?
Great question. I would ask for suggestions. I would look up on the portal of the Department of Insurance to see, because for attorneys, they do have something written up, and the ARDC, and I could give you all the places to look if you like that. You could check to see if there's any vectors against them or anything, and then talk to friends and family. But do your own homework. Anyone else? Okay.
While we're waiting for a mic to go to her, let me give you one from Zoom. Jeff is asking this question. Early on in this process, Did your parents ask for your input in what they were being proposed by the agent?
I knew the agent very well from the time I was 17. And as I said, he ate with us, and my parents felt that they were protecting me and my kids because he kept telling them they weren't set up right, that I would lose everything. I would lose the business. And so I said, do it if that's what you think. I had no idea because that's not my expertise. Yes,
Yeah, the question, it was life insurance, correct?
yes,
Who was it written on?
my father.
And your father was 86,
He was 84.
84, and they wrote life insurance on him?
And you know what? Okay, so that's really a good, that's why John Hancock is not giving me the file. I know there was a lot of issues with the file. And the insurance agent, if you read the letter that he wrote to them, you could tell it was all felonious. But it was at the end of the year, and this is the other thing. It was at the end of the year, they had to get their numbers in. And they do this for mortgages also, they have to build it up.
Sorry, I'm not the only one who is a little bit confused. Why would you take money out to buy a life insurance?
Because when people who have a certain amount of assets, they take out insurance, and the insurance, when they pass away, would have covered the loan. Does that make sense to you? Okay. The loan? Right. The loan is to pay for the life insurance. Does that answer your question yet? Keep asking questions so we could say that again. The premium was 800,000 for two different policies, $1.6 million a year. A year. See how the scam worked? The attorney, who my parents never met, the insurance company, John Hancock, let them become the beneficiary without my parents knowing before the policies were even placed. A legal red flag. Then the agent and the attorney got all the records because of who was the beneficiary and it goes into an irrevocable trust. Now I'm going beyond everything, but it went into an irrevocable trust because when you have large assets, it goes into this trust. So when you pass away, the taxes are different. It's a very complex ordeal. Yes, Paula.
Two questions. One, is there a age limit on taking out life insurance?
No.
Got it. The other thing is, if your father had dementia and your mother was so sick, who signed these documents?
They signed it, and the interest.
Who are the they?
My parents.
They signed it, okay.
The interesting thing is the bank knew my father had dementia and my mom was sick.
So they put documents in front of them that they knew they weren't capable of understanding.
Correct. Without any
Capable
legal.
of understanding to sign anyway.
Correct.
Got it.
And so one day you will see who the bank is. At this moment, I'm not giving it out, but you will see.
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. Great question.
Arnie, we have a question over here, Arnie. Arnie, I have one here.
Okay, thank you. Oh, you do want me to hold it? Okay. So sorry for the tremendous loss that you've experienced with this. I get inundated with mail about life insurance as a senior, just inundated with it. And they spend so much money on them.
They have a lot of
Direct
money.
mail from various companies, and there's TV commercials like during the daytime for life insurance. So is it your opinion that all these companies doing that are doing it with
Malice?
bad intent?
No.
Yes, thank you.
No, you know what? I believe there's wonderful agents out there. There's wonderful attorneys. But when you want to be deceitful, devious, dirty, and don't care about anyone, it's what you find. We have to protect ourselves. And that's what this is. But there's one thing I am going to say. We're all voters. And I think this is real important. When we had the shutdown in Illinois, Illinois was one of the states that lost so much money to fraud, COVID money. The insurance department has to be mandated to protect us as consumers. We all have to talk about our protection. White collar crime in Illinois is not really prosecuted. I had the fortune to be able to meet someone from the state's attorney's office who's an attorney who prosecutes doctors. And the Supreme Court can't believe a doctor could do fraud. Why not? It was easy. It's so easy. We have to believe it does happen. And then we go down. Instead of going up and go, it can't be, we have to go down and it goes, yes, it can. And we have to do something to protect.
I would say when you asked about your attorney that you were losing the man in the back, that you should ask him who he recommends. And secondly, I have no idea why we would buy life insurance unless we're self-supporting, you know, a family of little kids. In our 70s and 80s, we're not needing life insurance.
If you won, let's say you had an estate, I'm trying to think what number I would use, of $10 million, okay? And you believe you're set up well, but you don't have any life insurance. And, you know, in Illinois, we have how it passes over and whatnot. But to take care of your family, if you have that, you could buy a $2 million policy and it takes it out of your estate. No taxes passes. I mean, there's different reasons to do this. But the interesting thing is, my parents didn't even know what the dollar was because they kept all the paperwork.
It reminds me of a talk we had years ago here where the question was, or the statement was, it's time to have that talk with your children about where everything is and where they can find everything. They don't need it in their lockbox because you can't get into that after you've gone. So it's time to have the talk with all of our family about where everything is and, you know, kind of how much we're worth and where they can find everything.
I have a special form for that. But a lot of parents are afraid to talk to their kids for different reasons. As I said, a lot of kids have hurt their parents, and you see that. So it depends on the dynamics of the family.
Gail, I got a question over here.
Sure.
In these cases of fraud,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if this makes a difference or not, or is there any pattern in terms of the kind of insurance that is being perpetrated on these people, term versus whole life? Whole life.
My dad's was universal
Okay,
life.
yeah, because whole life implicates a return cash value. Whole term, nothing.
Right.
So I was wondering if there was any pattern to these crimes.
Well, even, you know, with term, you know what, Fred could actually speak to that.
The people who are serving pizza, it's time for them to go.
At a certain age, you can't get term. It's, the term steps at 85. And sometimes when you're buying insurance, like she was saying, there's different reasons. Number one is estate issues, over a certain amount to pay the estate tax, if you're that wealthy. But also in the state of Illinois, it's a lot, we have a Illinois death tax. That's a lot lower than the federal.
We have a IRS tax expert over here who's gonna.
I'm repeating something from the Palm Beach Post. I don't know. When did the Madoff thing come up? About 10 years ago? This woman met Bernard Madoff in a drugstore in Palm Beach. And she started questioning him about, and what he said didn't make much sense. So anyway, she was part of this group or this country club in Palm Beach, and she she said to her group, I notice a lot of you people have invested with Madoff. You better be very careful. And you know what the reply is? Oh, you must be anti-Semitic.
Well,
You're questioning Madoff.
but you know what's interesting about that story? Because in school we use that. The regulators used him and how he set everything up. It wasn't other way around. Yes. So.
Arnie, you better, last question, because we need in the interest of
Can I
time.
just say one thing before the question? My email's here, and if you believe you or someone had been a victim of elder fraud, please reach out to the FTC or your state's adult protection services. You can reach out to me. It doesn't matter.